G'day legends, it's Lee from Skulldrag Industries and heading out on North Pine Dam today. It's absolutely beautiful day, cracking heat. Probably around about that, 30, 33, 34 degrees centigrade, and of course that's not as hot as it gets for our northern cousins up around North Queensland and Darwin and whatnot, but still pretty hot for us at the moment. Hopefully that's going to stir our fish up and get them on the bite. Got a bit of a change coming through overnight, so with a bit of luck these fish might be on the bite. But before we kick off today, just wanted to say an absolute pleasure it has been dealing with BLA services. Now, for those of you that don't know, BLA pretty well known and recognized boating and fishing brand, but BLA do all of these servicing and warranty work for Humminbird. And those of you that have watched this channel before will have known that obviously I've got a Helix 7, which I find is absolutely beneficial to my style of fishing, whether it's out here on the actual impoundments or in the salt. I've had a problem with my Humminbird. 2 years warranty normally. This thing was bordering on 2 years and 10 months. Took it in, got a little bit of water in the actual card slot, and it rusted out some of the components, so our GPS wasn't working. So took it into BLA. Guys there, Ash, shout out to you, mate, absolute legend, and for Dave helping us out on the front counter. These guys took a look at the unit for me, basically said, look, we can fix it, but there's no parts here in Australia, and replace the unit. Now, didn't have to do that, but shout out to you guys, you're absolute legends, getting me back on the water and us onto some fish. So with no further ado, I might just pull a little bit of this clean rack off of here and fire up the brand new sounder, and let's get out there and try and catch some fish. All right, so now we're cracking. Absolutely scorcher of a day. Got a little bit of cloud build up in the background there. Looks like the weather may come a little bit later, but at the moment it is absolutely beautiful out here, albeit a little bit warm. So let's see if we can heat up the action, catch a few fish. Oh baby, and we did not have to wait long. Came across a big school sitting on this point, and first lure got absolutely nailed. So it'll be interesting to see how good a fish this turns out to be. But he definitely was pretty keen, and we are literally, I don't know, 50 meters from the ramp. Again, I thought I'd try a little bit of an area that I don't normally fish, just to see whether or not there were fish schooling up out there, and most certainly, and they're on pretty much straight away. So having a bit of a dig there now, taking a little bit of line, but reckon about a 40 bass. Here he comes. Not a bad little fish to start off with. Definite donut breaker on the sharp point there. Slide him into the old silicon there, and we've got a bunch of them kicking around underneath us here on the sounder. You can see that, look at that. So definitely some fish around today, and he's absolutely inhaled that. You can see, not using small lures either. These are quite large lures, and he's absolutely good. He's got both trebles, so not bad, little 35 centimeter bass. So we'll get him off, get him back. Chuck him on the measurer there, he goes a shade over 37, thereabouts. Not a bad fish. Oh, the assassin's on, first blood. This is the donut breaker. Hey, donut breaker. Got one this time. Again, it's just coming up out of the deep into the shallow. Got a little bit of weight to him, this guy. Definite contender. Oh yeah, that's not bad. That is not too shabby at all. And you can see he's crunched that one. I reckon he's probably going about a 45. I might just chuck him on the mat and have a bit of a look, but that is a hell of a bass. Look at that, fills up that net. Awesome. So there we go, lovely 47 centimeter bass, absolute stonking fish. We're going to let him go, he's going to grow bigger, not far from 50, and you guys can come out here and catch him yourself. Just tried a white lure profile. Now the fish are pretty few and far between here at the moment, so I'm going to loosen the drag off a little bit. We don't want to lose this guy if he does decide to run at the last moment, and chances are he probably will, but starting to come up there now. Not a bad sized bass, probably around that not quite 40 mark. But you know what, better than a donut. Not a bad looking fish, just the same, but not quite that 50 rata, but he's out there. We'll find her. Nice solid connection. You can see there the treble's gone right into that bottom jaw, probably pretty much in the actual tongue. So great little fish. Seeing heaps on the sounder here now. Of course, you never see any when you're trolling. And let's see if we can get those hooks out and get him back in the water. Man, there are some funky odd patterns in that sky. Get a load of that. The wind's just starting to pick up now. We're probably going to go right through the middle of that. So we are actually going to start to make our way back in a little bit. See if we can get ourselves in a better position before that stuff hits. And it's this kind of crazy stuff that happens where the bite goes absolutely nuts. And I'm trying to push back so we can get in a little bit closer back to the ramp. And all of a sudden, the bite goes absolutely nuts because of the dropping pressure. And the fish really start to play up. We start to see more and more of it happening. And you can't go too far because you're catching fish one after the other. That's not a bad one, a little bit over the 40 that one, but get him off, bat down the hatches for this storm. So you can see now how the conditions can rip up, get a load of that. And it's all happening. How crazy is that? Wind's blowing, pressure's dropping, fish are biting, absolutely bloody crazy. Oh yeah! And we're loving it. Woo. That's good fish too. And down here in a, oh, and it's a yellow. It's important you don't turn side on when you got the wind like that, otherwise you might turn turtle. The last thing we need is going in there when we got this approaching. At any stage you go to the bank, always remember that. And this is the time that you want to know you've got your PFD on board, you've got a mate out there that'll come and find you if you need it, and the fish are on fire. Yeah, baby. Storm yellows. It's happening. And it's on. Woo! So, things have settled down. The rain started to clear. We're making our way back slowly. And you can actually see those conditions have somewhat calmed down. And whilst there's still a little bit of rain and a little bit of wind, it's nothing like what we just experienced. So, always good to be prepared when you hit our southeast Queensland impoundments. And just be aware just how rough that freshwater can be, especially when the wind picks up. Alright, well thanks very much for joining us everybody. We hope you got a bit of a show out of that. Got to see how dangerous it can be out on our impoundments and what precautions you need to take. And thanks very much again for joining us, and we'll catch you guys next time out on the water. And we are on. Oh, might have a bit of decent weight to it and get a load of that sunset. After everything we've been through today, this one should be a 50. And a lovely little sunset bass. Hey buddy.